Hi guys doing out there, my name is Kyle and today I'm going to be discussing Wind River, which is written and directed by Taylor Sheridan. The movie stars Jeremy Renner as a wildlife hunter and tracker in a snowy town in Wyoming who has a very haunted past. And one day, while doing his regular job, he comes across the body of a dead Native American woman, and this brings in Elizabeth Olsen's character, a young, inexperienced FBI agent, to investigate how and when this murder took place, as well as finding the person responsible for it. This is a movie that I've been very interested in seeing, particularly because the plot was very interesting to me. I like the poster, especially the two actors, and the fact that it is written and this time directed by Taylor Sheridan. If you guys don't know, he wrote Sicario as well as Hell or High Water, which I felt was one of the best movies of last year and was a Best Picture nominee. So I was very excited to see what he can bring to the table in his directorial debut. And honestly, guys, he did one hell of a job. Wind River was a very, very good movie. And similar to the other films that Sheridan has written, they all deal with characters with very realistic and haunting situations. His movies have this slight neo-noirish feel to them, and I love neo-noir stuff. Memento, hello guys, I love that kind of genre, so it works for me, and it worked very well with this movie. So let's talk about the acting first. When it comes to Jeremy Renner, I'm a little bit mixed on him. I've loved him in the films Hurt Locker and Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. However, there is also The Bourne Legacy, and of course Hawkeye in the Avengers, my least favorite character and I think the most boring character. But fortunately, guys, this is easily his best performance I have ever seen. I thought he was phenomenal in this movie. And the most intriguing thing about his character is exploring why he's flawed and why he's haunted. And I'm not going to give anything away. I don't want to do that because I want you guys to know as little as possible, because that's how I felt going into this movie. I barely knew a single thing about it besides a little plot synopsis and the two leads and Taylor Sheridan. Other than that, I didn't even know what genre this was going to be. I knew it was going to be a murder mystery, but I didn't know it was going to dig as deep as it did, and we're going to explore that in a minute. There's also Elizabeth Olsen, who I definitely enjoyed. I think she is a very pretty actress. She definitely played Scarlet Witch in the Avengers, and I think that's kind of funny to have Scarlet Witch and Hawkeye, but they completely sink into their characters. I wouldn't say she's giving an Oscar-worthy performance in this movie, but you definitely get a feel that she is this young, inexperienced FBI agent who at times finds it difficult to assume control, because there are a lot of scenes where she's like, I'm the FBI agent, I have total authority in this situation. But does she really? From the moment we meet her character, we know she is completely out of her depth. She didn't even bring the right clothing, and they have to give her specific clothing, otherwise she would freeze to death. As the movie goes along, you are convinced that it is specifically a murder mystery. That's the overall plot of this movie. But similar to Sheridan's other works, particularly with Sicario, it is about something way deeper than you expected and anticipated. And as it goes along, you realize it's a film depicting the discrimination of Native Americans. Throughout the entire movie, they are very unfairly treated. And I was very emotionally impacted by it watching this movie. I really felt it. I feel like it could have been a little further pushed. I'm going to talk about that later on in this review. But one thing I will say, guys, is that at the very end of this movie, I don't know if people have talked about this, because I have not watched a single review, I promise. But I will say, the ending of this movie, there is some text that appears on screen that honestly just floored me. I couldn't believe it. And that was what I thought about the most leaving the theater. I just couldn't escape the last 5 minutes of the movie and just how well it tied everything together. And about halfway through this movie, I was just sitting there thinking to myself, the characters and the situations presented are about as real as it gets. But at the same time, no character in this movie felt like a movie character saying movie dialogue. It never felt that way. Once the actual twist is revealed as to what happened to the young woman and how she traveled all that way and died, the movie definitely takes its own turn and goes in a specific direction. Now, this is something that I think will turn a lot of people off. And this is one of those movies that I don't think everyone is going to love. I didn't absolutely love this movie. I'm going to just put that out there. I really liked this movie, though. But I know this is one of those movies that I think is not only going to catch some controversy, but I think people are going to misinterpret the symbolism used in the movie. Now, I'm not trying to be pretentious. I'm not saying the film is trying to be pretentious. But I definitely believe this movie will be hated on by a lot of people. As far as cons go, I do have a couple of them. I do think the movie has some pacing issues. I think it is a little bit too slow at times, particularly with the second act. But I do think once the third act begins, it's just fantastic. But I do think it has a couple of moments where I think the pace could have been picked up a little bit. I think the writing could have been a little bit sharper with a couple of characters. My second problem with the movie is something that you guys might not be expecting, because knowing me, you know I love action movies. Loved them my entire life. But the action scenes in the movie just felt very unnecessary. They were definitely my least favorite aspect about it. They didn't promote any kind of discussion. They were just really there to be action scenes. For me. I'm pretty sure that people have differing opinions, but I just wasn't really a fan. They're well helmed, but for me they just came out of nowhere and really just derived from the serious and gritty story they were trying to tell. And like I said before, in terms of the Native Americans, all the actors are great. It's just, I feel like the script should have focused more on those characters instead of 90% of the time focusing on Renner and Olsen's characters. Because they are the main characters in the movie, don't get me wrong, but the movie also has a deep and dark subtext involving discrimination against Native Americans, as I stated before. And I wish the movie took more time to examine that. The ending of the movie definitely was the definition of an emotional punch. I just felt like if there was more of a push with what the text said at the end of the movie, I would have been floored even more. Overall, guys, I would definitely recommend Wind River. It's a fantastic movie with great characters and an extremely realistic story. I think this is tied with Hell or High Water as my favorite script, written by Taylor Sheridan. He's done it again, and for his directorial debut, he did one hell of a good job. I'm going to give Wind River an A-. So what did you guys out there think about the film Wind River? If you saw it, I'd love to hear your comments, so send them down in the comment section below. Guys, thank you so much as always for watching. I really appreciate your love and support. I'm moving into college, and it's really a big step. It's big. Anyways, you will see one last video after I upload this before I go. Thank you so much as always, and stay tuned.